Music Studio. Snow Music Studio. Snow Music Studio.
Digital PH, enabling digital opportunities for Filipinos. Next Wave Cities. Baguio City is one of the prime locations for IT BPM industry, with its constant recognition as one of the top 10 next wave cities in the Philippines since 2011, and one of the top 100 outsourcing destinations globally as recognized by Tholons, the leading strategic advisory firm for global outsourcing research.
So my name is Michael Oliver de la Peña. I'm the Vice President for Operations for Cytel's North Luzon region. I've been working for Cytel for going on 12 years now. I started out in 2004 as an agent for the very first account. So I moved through coach track training, then became a coach, operations manager track training, then I became a manager, all the way to where I am now. Back in 2003, going into 2004, when I started with the company, our plans were to migrate to the US. So my sister-in-law has a nursing home there. But I've always said I wanted my kids to grow up in the same city where I grew up in. Cytel, this company, has given me the opportunity to do just that. Knowing that for every one BPO employee or associate, that there are 7 others, either family or friends, that are helped by that, is even more rewarding than the physical or material stuff.
The Next Wave Cities program focuses on the creation and development of ICT hubs, which will serve as business and innovation centers and investment destinations outside Metro Manila, thus creating economic opportunities in these areas. Stepping up the value chain. The developments in the game industry evidently shows the growing wider appreciation and interest of students and professionals in games development.
I took game design and development abroad. It's in Full Sail University. After I graduated, it was quite hard for me to get a job. Shortly after that, I went back home to the Philippines. So I worked as a contract engineer for a group of companies. Shortly after that, I dedicated some of those time to teach game design and development in our local university here. As a role model, having the opportunity of getting educated from these schools that focuses on game design and development, what I can do is share my knowledge, continue teaching these next generation of people who will be driving our economy here in the Philippines. If they could take advantage of those computer skills, they could apply it to their work, bring in more dollars, basically, to the Philippines, our country.
The Stepping Up the Value Chain initiative aims to develop the higher value and more complex services capabilities that the country's IT BPM segments could offer. These segments are information technology, healthcare information management, software development, finance and accounting, animation and games development. Seed PH. Seed PH involves activities to develop startup ideas, skills, and mindset as it conducts different activities to orient the youth on the opportunities to position Philippines as a leading digital economy.
I'm Franz Maverick Lorilla. I'm from Davao City. I just graduated from University of Southeastern Philippines, taking Bachelor of Science in Electronics Engineering. Right now, we're building a startup called Cloud Farm Innovations. Cloud Farm Innovation is a company that aims to help our Filipino farmers to simplify their lives in agriculture through technology. We see potential in agriculture, and that is why we put our interests, our skills and talent to do such a thing that could help farmers to maximize their yield. Right now, our company is developing a product which is a smart IoT sensor and app that allows farmers to maximize their yield through advanced monitoring and analytics of the crop condition. What inspires us to make this startup is we all came from family of farmers, and we see a lot of opportunity in agriculture, and there's a lot of problems needed to be solved. That is why we build this technology that will help farmers make a smarter decision in farming by giving them the information that they need through the use of an app and a device that is put on the farm.
CPH promotes digital entrepreneurship and advocates the development of the country's startup ecosystem by unifying its players and stakeholders towards the community's common goals. Rural Impact Sourcing. RIS program also involves training and development of talents in the countryside to enable them to provide IT BPM services while working from home.
I am Niling Baterna from Kabatagan, Lanao del Norte, an online worker. I started online work in the year 2007. Nag-enroll po ako for college sa Iligan Institute of Technology po. Yung papa ko po, farmer po siya. Yun po bumubuhay sa amin. Natuto akong mag-ani po ng palay, tapos magtanim din. Tumutulong sa paglagay ng mga similya po ng palay po. Uso pa yun yung Friendster, yun lang yung pinakamalakas na social media site noon. So dun po nagsimula ang lahat. Isa pong employer ang gustong mag-hire sa akin. I started as a data entry personnel for pnworldwide.com. Yung salary ko po noon is 16,000 po pesos. Malaking tulong po yun sa pamilya ko kasi pagbibigay ako ng pera sa mama ko, sa papa, para rin sa palayan namin. Now, I am the owner of Kapatagan Web Services. Pwede palang gawin dito sa rural with the help sa inyong program po. Kaya yun, nagpursige po kami with the help of our mayor na ipuso magkaroon ng homegrown BPO dito. Yung mainly in-offer po namin is web developing, social media marketing, lead generation, search engine optimization, both on-page and off-page. Gumagawa rin po kami ng plugin developing po ngayon. Meron na po ako natulungan ng mga local online worker dito sa Kapatagan po. Train po sila para maging social media marketer as a start, and then naging search engine optimizer din po sila by my guidance po. Yung basic skills po na kailangan magsimula sa online work is meron kang social media presence sa iyong sarili, knowledge in computer, and tech savvy, and also an internet researcher. At least po, high school graduate po. Pwede na po siya. Marami po kaming mga kliyente. Kami po ang nagmamarket ng mga services nila. Malaki po na itulong itong online work na rural impact sourcing. Dito sa Kapatagan, maliit lang po yung wage o salary. Yung sa online work po, malaki po siya. It's range 8,000 to 50,000 po. Malaki po itong tulong sa isang tao o sa isang worker na nandito lang sa Kapatagan po.
Rural Impact Sourcing, or RIS, aims to promote ICT-enabled jobs as a high-value economic activity in rural communities.
So to be able to make a difference in people's lives through the industry and through this company, it's just invaluable.
Iba talaga yung effect ng ICT, not just only in communication, but also in employment and even entrepreneurship.
The most important thing is you must have passion for what you do. If you're doing something that you're not happy with, then there's no really point in continuing. Second is determination. Just keep on doing what you need to do, guys. So just keep on moving. Do the hard work.
Keep doing what is right and what you love. When it comes to online work, it needs dedication and a proper exercise of attitude.
So my name is Michael Oliver de la Peña. I'm the Vice President for Operations for Cytel's North Luzon region.
I am Brent Shua from Bacolod City, a game developer, startup founder, and a technopreneur.
I am Franz Maverick Lorilia. I'm from Davao City, and I am a startup founder.
I am Niling Baterna from Kapatagan, Lanao del Norte. I was an online freelancer, and now I am a digital entrepreneur.
Wherever you are in the Philippines, there is an opportunity waiting for you. next wave cities. Stepping up the value chain. Seed PH. Rural Impact Sourcing. And the Department of Information and Communications Technology continues to strive to build more bridges, generate better options, and connect you to the endless possibilities in the world of ICT. Digital PH. Digital opportunities for everyone.
Malaki talagang impact ng training na ito sa akin, lalo sa nag-online selling ako. Sumasama ako sa mga barkada ko sa pag-racket, sa pagbebenta sa online selling, gaya ng pag-buy and sell ng mga gadgets, mga speaker case at iba pa. Mas nainganyo ako magtrabaho online dahil sa aking natutunan sa training ng DICT. Madami akong natutunan gaya ng tamang pag-manage ng page, paggamit ng iba't ibang marketing tools, paggawa ng template at pag-organize ng task at captioning. Mas lumawak ang aking kaalaman at mas naintindihan ko ang tamang paggamit ng social media. Masaya ako dahil napapilang ako sa training ng DICT at malaking tulong ito para sa akin.
May goal tayo, we think big. Dapat may goal tayo para maging gusto nyo sa inyong buhay. Oh no, Papi!
Ako po si Kini Bakal, 30 years old. Kasalukuyan nagtatrabaho as chef sa Sambilan Restaurant, Marishan Foods. Nakita ko sa post ng Lamitan City. Nag-offer sila ng social media marketing and advertising. Pinindot ko yung link nila at nag-register ako doon. Sabi ko sa sarili ko, saktong-sakto doon sa pangangailangan upang ma-promote at ma-establish ng maayos ang negosyo. Napakaganda pala pag ito'y ginagamitan ng isang social media marketing. Dahil malawak ang mapupuntahan at makikita ng mga ibang customer o potential customer yung mga menu namin. Napaka-worth it yung training namin kasi nagagamit namin sa sarili naming buhay.
Nagpapasalamat po ako sa LGU Lamitan, lalo na po kay May Rose Maligay, sa Tech for Ed Lamitan, at sa DICT, lalo na po kay Ma'am Jihan Polo.
Nagpapasalamat po ako sa bumubuo ng training na ito sa ating butiking mayor na si Rose Puligay, Vice Mayor na si Ol Puligay, at sa mga bumubuo ng DICT, Tech for Ed, sa mga magagaling namin instructor. Sa lahat sa kanila, nagpapasalamat ako ng sobra-sobra. Abante DICT! Abante Lamitan!
Snow Music Studio. Music Studio. Snow 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 Music Studio.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Dr. Gilio.
Yes, good afternoon. Isa na sa taron.
Yes, sir. Yes, Doc.
Kanya sa paliukan.
Good afternoon, Dr. Jo.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Good
sir.
afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon from Holy Name University, Bohol.
Wow, good afternoon.
Good, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. In the next few minutes, we'll be starting our webinar. Kindly stay for a minute.
Okay.
Good afternoon from Talibon Polytechnic College.
Okay, good afternoon, Talibon. Very good.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi.
Doc, good afternoon from Cebu Roosevelt Memorial Colleges, Cebu City.
Dr. Hilig.
Yes, Doc.
Good afternoon. Kumusta na mo diha?
Okay ra. Thank you, Doc.
Okay. At least kita ka at a distance. Naapoy sa Bohol, Ubay, no? Bohol North. Oh. Northern Star. ECLC Mandawi. Roy Imperial.
Good afternoon from Holy Name University,
Holy
sir.
Name.
Holy Name
Holy Name ng
University.
Kabalan.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Mambitritim sa MC.
Yes, Doc.
So ko. Tagan mo ang faculty, sa Dr. Hilig?
Duha ra mayroon, Doc, kaning attend, Doc. Ako, si ang Vice President na mo, si Ma'am Christine Lipitin.
Ma'am Christine daw, ikaw?
Yes, Doc.
Oh.
Good afternoon, everyone, from Talisa ICT College.
PCC.
Yes, Doc. Talisa
PCC.
ICT.
Good afternoon, sir.
PC, kumusta naman mo diha?
Yes, sir.
Sa Northern Star.
Yung Bohol Northern Star College.
Sa Ubay. Mas Ma'am Salis. Si Mercado. Cordoba. CBD College. Okay, very good. Royal Christian, po. Ang uban si IT pa.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Exactly 2 p.m. we will start our webinar. Thank you.
Good afternoon po, Dr. Ronquillo.
Good afternoon.
The ICT Region 8 po.
Oh, Marian, gusto ko. Last, pag binayan natin, last January 8.
Hello, Ma'am Marian. Good afternoon.
Ma'am Marian, nakamute po kayo.
Aris Duncan,
Yes, you're...
Hello, good afternoon from St. Louis College.
Good afternoon from St. Louis College.
Thank you.
Hi, Aris.
Yes, ma'am. Kanina po, mula pong sound sa galing sa inyo po.
Sige, okay. Just checking. Thank you.
Speaker check, Miss D. Villavicencio. Are you here, ma'am? Miss D. Villavicencio from Civil Service. Are you here, ma'am?
From Civil Service, can we check your audio, please?
You're on mute, Miss.
From Civil Service. Okay. Hello. May
Hello,
buhaga,
ma'am. Good
may
afternoon.
hapon katanan.
May hapon, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
May hapon.
Engineer Royden Rosana, can you check your audio, please?
Sound check down, sound check.
Clear, sir. Thank you. Comment sa Facebook. Hindi pwede nang gawas. Nag-comment ako ka. Nag-comment ako ka. Naka-comment. Sige, comment. Na-comment tayo mo? Sa Facebook? O lagi?
Greetings from the Department of Information and Communications Technology. and welcome to our webinar on ICT Proficiency. We would like to greet all stakeholders from the schools, universities, colleges, and the Visayas area region. In this webinar, we will tackle on the objectives, scopes, and expected outcomes and outputs of the individual who will take that training. E-certificates will be given to our guests in this Google Meet, and to those who are watching online, the link to the evaluation sheet will be posted later. And please do note, processing for the certificates will take 2 to 3 weeks. Please take time to fill it out. To make sure, stay tuned till the end. And we are live via Facebook and YouTube. So put in your comments and suggestions, and we will answer them in this webinar. The important links are on the description on this Facebook Live. And please, for those who just came in on the webinar, the attendance form is in the chat box. And again, the attendance form is in the chat box, and the evaluation sheet will be posted later. To formally start our webinar, let us pause for a moment for our opening prayer to be followed by our national anthem. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Lord, we thank you for this afternoon. Thank you for your time. We thank you for these amazing people who join us today to gather, share information, and to share their wisdom and knowledge. Pray for their safety, and we pray for all our speakers and stakeholders who are with us today. And please guide us with your wisdom and knowledge. And this we ask in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Day, pwede ko pala napaisugo, napapanin day, di? Isa kita ha. Ito sa si Ma'am Ami. Cool school address.
And again, good afternoon sa natong tanan. Salamat and I would like to greet also our followers from Facebook. Betty Panergo. Okay. There's something wrong with the audio. And we'd like to greet all the stakeholders from different colleges in the Visayas region. We have from Norso, Ginhulungan. We also have from Vice Campus, Negros Oriental State University. We also have from CPUMA, Cebu Institute of Technology University, St. Paul College Foundation. We also have from MHAM College of Medicine, I think that's Matias. We also have from CRMC Bogo City, Holy Name University, BSU, Kandigay Campus, Secure State College, CTSC, St. Louis de Marilac, School of Bogo. We also have from the University of Visayas, good afternoon. And kanatong tanan, again, maayong hapon. We thank you for joining with us in our webinar today. And to formally start, may we call Ms. Marian Kosoko for the opening remark. Ms. Marian is the focal for ICT Literacy and Competency Development Bureau, or the ILCDB. Marian, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Sir Gerald. To our CHED Region 7 Curriculum Head, Dr. Josefino A. Ronquillo. Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
To our Civil Service Region 7 HR Specialist, si Ma'am D. Villavicencio. To our Provincial Officer of Cebu, and at the same time, the PNPKI focal person for Region 7, si Engineer Royden Rosiana. To our ICDB training specialists of DICT Cebu, si Ms. Rodina Pangilinan and Mr. Gerald John Alforque. To our Region 7 Tech for Ed Coordinator, Mr. Aris P. Zeta. To all our professors, school heads, and deans, and to all participants, good afternoon po. Maayong hapon, maupay nga kulop in Waray-Waray since I am in Tacloban. In behalf of Director Frederick D.C. Amores, our OIC Regional Director, I would like to say good afternoon again and welcome each and every one of you here, hoping everyone is okay po and safe. As mentioned in the posted ad in our Facebook page, the discussion will focus on to take the ICT Proficiency Certification Examination of the DICT to get an Electronic Data Processor, EDP, Specialist Eligibility, which is an equivalent to the Career Service Eligibility of the Civil Service. That is why we have a representative here from the Civil Service. So, but before that, allow me to discuss to you briefly about the programs and projects of the ICT. Very short lang po. Part of the ICT's powers and functions is to formulate policies and initiatives in coordination with DepEd, the CHED, the TESDA, to develop and promote ICT in education consistent with the national goals and objectives and responsive to the human resource needs of the ICT and ICT-enabled service sector. So we wanted to produce ICT-enabled human resources to answer the need of the ICT. So as discussed during the planning and consultation meeting 2 weeks ago of the DICT directors, DICT will revitalize the implementation of this digital education and digital workforce, leading to ICT Academy. So CHED is one of our partners. We will closely work hand in hand with you on these programs, especially on digital education. Ang hindi lang po pwedeng madala ng among the mga projects and programs of the ICT to SUCs ay yung EBPLS natin. Kasi yung automation for issuance of business permits and licenses, kasi this is purely for LGU. So basically, most of the programs of the ICT makakascade din po sa SUC. course and pass the subject, the student will receive a civil service eligibility. This is the proposal and to be cascaded to our SUCs. So the conduct of another project is the conduct of digital jobs training. I don't know if you are familiar with it. This DJT is for our constituents in the provinces. So to have an online job or to be a freelancer, especially during this time of a pandemic, that some of our people were displaced from their jobs, our OFWs, our locals, our graduates, and all jobless individuals, and some naman are joining the training for additional income naman. The ICT will be conducting training in every province in response to this need. So the DJT designed the 8 training courses, and they are, before we only have 7 courses, designed courses, and now naging 8 na po siya. We have digital marketing and e-commerce course, yung website development and using WordPress, yung social media marketing natin and advertising, yung virtual assistants, yung search engine and marketing and advertising, yung graphic design, content writing, and the English as the second language is our new among the courses. We also have this Tech for Ed project, which will be discussed later by Mr. Aris Zeta. I just would like to emphasize isa sa mga apps namin doon, yung sa LEAP, yung Learning English Application for Pinoys, wherein I have already discussed a few of it with Dr. Ronquillo. This is a 200 hours training wherein offline po siya, 100 hours for speech and 100 hours for grammar and vocabulary. So this is, pwede po siya kahit kanino. So especially to our teachers, sabi nga ni Dr. Ronquillo before nga, to our teachers, pwede din po siya. So this will be discussed by Mr. Aris later. So we also have, as Engineer Rosiana kanina, yung PNPKI, Philippine National Public Key Infrastructure. Dito naman po yung mga digital signatures po natin to. So madami po kaming training and programs na pwede po natin ma-enjoy ng ating mga students, and ating mga teachers, and mga kababayan. Pwede silang matuto, and yung ibang training natin is kumita later. So listen lang po tayo, mga teachers, mga deans. So in behalf of Director Frederick Amores, thank you to all, and stay safe po tayo, and God bless po. Thank you very much po.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Marian. Daghang kayong salamat sa imong pag-share for that information. And in this juncture, we will hear a message from our CHED Region 7 Chief Education Program Specialist, Dr. Josefino Ronquillo. Sir, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Sir Gerald.
No problem.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hi. So, happy to see you at the distance. Okay. Nainanambok, nainaniwang, naiputi, naihitom, so we can define it many things, no, at a distance. Okay. So with this in mind, in behalf of our Regional Director, Dr. Maximo C. Alhivi, so please allow me to deliver this message, a sort of inspirational message, and of course, sugo sa mayong pamatasan, atong mga kaigsuunan o mga kahigalaan, mayong hapon kanatong tanan. To our, okay, to our partners, no, CHED won't be CHED without all other partner agencies, and of course our partners for quality higher education, the higher education institutions, of course our DICT for this afternoon's activities, and so forth and so on, and with the rest of our partners from the Civil Service Commission as professionalizing every worker in the government, of course the private sector as a professional worker. So it seems to have all these things that we have to discuss this afternoon, and in for that readiness for the thing. And of course, with that, I'd like to thank the DICT for this collaboration last January 8 that we have had, and of course today This is the second realization and going to that ICT Proficiency examination or certification. So with that point, Ma'am Marian Soko, yun, ang partner natin, and then from Region 8, and then for that English niya, okay, kailangan talaga, as I said last January 8, hindi na tayo magplastikan, hindi tayo yung pakimi-kimi, kundi kailangan na talaga ngayon, okay? So with that, Sir Aris Zita, the Tech for Aid Coordinator of Region 7. Sir Aris, kita na naman tayo. Parang pang-apat na to since last year, no? Patiks-tiks lang tayo doon. Then now, ito na. Pangalawa na ito na face-to-face natin. O Sir Roydin Rosiana, the PNPKI Focal Region 7. Of course, Ma'am D. Villavicencio, the HR Specialist 2 of the Civil Service Commission of Region 7. Civil service partner pa rin natin, and then every year magano kami din ng the outstanding government worker in the region, sama din kami yon magano select. So with that, the Civil Service Commission, of course, for all those professionalization in the government sector. So with that, serving to that effect, and it really manifests with our collaboration and partnership, and of course, that's how the SDGs or Sustainable Development Goals of number 17. No, number 18 is the social media technology. Ito ng trabaho natin sa DICT. And then SDG number 19 is the COVID-19. So now, with that thing, we are challenged to this kind of pandemic as we are facing with this. We cannot escape to this kind of challenge, but we have to make some strategies that we can realize with what are old normal, and now it becomes the new normal. And so with that CHED, we are on the ICT, we do introduce that all HCI should have the OLMS, or the Online Educational Learning Management System. Of course, the CHED Memorandum Order number 4 series of 2020, the flexible learning environment or the blended learning, and the synchronous, asynchronous, and then the off-site or the on-site learning, teaching learning activities. So with that, so that we can continue with our quality higher education system delivery, and then to be also at par with our globalization and the ASEAN integration for that thing. Of course, to our Vice President, the deans, no, Vice President Attorney Corazon Valencia, I have read from the CIT University, and then we have the directors from the school, I think Sir Roy Imperial of the ICLC Mandawi, and of course from University of San Carlos, San Jose Recoletos, UV, and all others, and with that from Cebu, Bohol, Siquijor, Negros Oriental. So all HCIs were really into this forum, and this is a laudable thing from the DICT point of view, and also with our stakeholders collaboration and partnership. So with this in mind, as I know that some sort of inspiration, so this time as we are challenged with this COVID-19 pandemic, so I would say that everybody should have learned with that ICT thing and will be certified to that effect, so that we will be employable local and international. So with this point, that teachers, without the teachers, HCIs will not exist, and without the HCIs, CHED will not exist, and all others. So we are now collaborating and partnership with each other, and so that we could realize everything. So the teachers this time need to integrate the technology seamlessly into the curriculum, as instead of viewing it as an add-on. Before it was an add-on, but this time it's already a requirement, and it's not only also an afterthought or an event, but now it's a requirement. And of course, I said even though that I'm already eligible in the government, but I want to be certified with the ICT, ICT Proficiency certification. So as I could remember, way back in the year 2000 with our academic industry linkage with the SIDFIT. So there were takers of the ICT proficiency test. Am I right? I think wala pa siguro si Sir Aris, iba pa yung wala pa din ang hindi pa the academic industry linkage yun, may ICT professional, ano namin yan, academy. So I could remember that many passed from the CIT University, from University of San Carlos, San Jose Recoletos, UV, then UC, and I think Dr. Hilig, ang may isang faculty mo nakapag-student yun yung nag-graduate nakapasa, no? And all other colleges holy name. I think there was also, there were pastors at part of Bohol. So all parts of Region 7, there are pastors in the ICT certification. And I kept on thinking of it and watching on it, how many pastors were there and up to now. So I'm happy to know when Sir Aris texted me about the thing of, yes, that would be a good opportunity now that we could see that more faculty were now into that, and the ICT is in the higher education institution as a requirement. So we should have that ICT proficiency examination, okay? So, but before that, as I really love that kind of proposal that there will be, before the test will be, there will be an intervention or assessment muna on the, excuse me, and then after the assessment, kung sino man ang to whatever weak area of those being assessed, yun na mag-umpisa na ang intervention or bridging, so that leading into the certification exam. So that's a very good approach. That's a nurturing thing in education that we have to assist muna, so that we will know how much number of the total population really need this kind of intervention or training, so that they'll be given some sort of activities for them to pass in the ICT certification or proficiency examination. So with this point of view, that I would say that the technology itself is no longer a transformative thing, but it's really a kind of total transformation in education, in which that we are expecting the graduates, quality graduates, that to be attuned to our new mechanism for the globalization and internationalization, and who will mold them? It should be the teachers. So with our teachers as the to that effect of our learner-centered activities in educational system, so we should not always deny the teachers, as now they're also affected with the COVID-19 pandemic, that there are some teachers who were displaced, but I said that we will let them take the assessment, so that they'll be certified as for that proficiency examination in the ICT, so that they could be employed also in some other areas or in the industry if the institution is closed, because there are some higher education institution in Region 7 nagsara sila dahil sa COVID-19. So therefore, there are some teachers na talagang na-displaced. So with this, and that's why CHED has that intervention also, in a sort of giving them some scholarship, and also the DOLI is giving them in order to also give them the interventions, because kawawa naman sila that the economic thing this time. So we are really much affected or badly hit. So with this in mind, I would say that this 21st century education won't be defined as any new technology anymore, but it won't be just defined also as technology programs or the technology projects, but this 21st century education will really, however, be defined as a fundamental shift, that in what we are teaching, a shift towards the learner-centered education and creating the creative thinkers. So with this, in ICT, there are many creations that with the game of the brains and many things to happen in the real world of work, and therefore the productivity will be there, and the economic thing will be addressed to our local and international community. By this, to all our participants, from the administrators, our partner agencies, stakeholders, the faculty. So with this afternoon's activity, welcome to this regional ICT preparation for the proficiency examination. Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir, for that very wonderful message. Daghang ngayong salamat, sir. And we hope we can really collaborate with all of the universities and schools in not just in the Visayas region, but in the entire Philippines. Thank you so much. So right now, since that was a very wonderful message from Sir Georgia, let's talk about what is ICT. And to help us to get the idea about it, help me welcome my colleague, Ms. Rodina S. Pangilinan, our training specialist 2 in DICT Visayas Cluster 2. Ms. Lee, good afternoon.
Hello everyone, good afternoon, and mayong hapon no, sa atong mga viewers from Region 7 and Region 8 as well, since the ICT Visayas Cluster 2 caters to Region 7 and Region 8. So allow me to share my screen here. Actually, we're just on the same office with Gerald, so we're just sharing the tools here. So again, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Sir Jojo, the affiliate of the Commission on Higher Education. Thank you for gracing us today, and as well as our teachers from Region 7, no? And those who are watching as well on Facebook and on our YouTube live. All right. So, are we good with our presentation, Jack? Let me just show my screen here. So for me to check which schools are you from, so kindly type your name of school and the province where you are from on our Google chat, so we can acknowledge. I see on our Facebook page we have some from Zambales, from Southern Leyte, and not only in the Visayas region, we also have some from Batangas and Catanduanes. And so good afternoon, everyone. Let me know if you can see my screen now, the ICT Proficiency slides.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so shout out din no sa mga teachers nato from ACLC College in Mandaue and in CIT University. Good afternoon. All right, so let's talk about the ICT Proficiency exam. No, a lot of students are actually coming in our office to ask about this exam, and a lot also don't know what the exam is actually, what it actually is. No, so you may have heard it on from your friends. You may have heard it from your teachers, but not so many really pushed to take the exam. Now let's talk about it. So what are the objectives of this exam firsthand? So it is an innovative and tangible method of measuring ICT skills. No? So we can use this as a gauge, in measuring the skills of the employees or the students. Next, please, Gerald. It is also a model of education and an excellent benchmark on the employees' skills. All right. So next, it's a positive return on investment in IT training. So what you have, what training you've undergone before, that will gauge on how effective that training is. Next. Now, what is the scope of the ICT Proficiency exam? So here, let me just fix the layout here on my Google Meet so that the watchers from Facebook can also see the presentation. Give me a minute. To have questions, so formulate your questions now, and we will have those during our open forum after the speakers this afternoon. So. Okay. Share now. All right. Okay, so going back, the scope of the exam, there are actually two types of exam that the ICT provides for the ICT proficiency exam. So we have programming and systems analysis and design. So what are the topics under the systems analysis, design, and programming? So first up, so we have basic computer concepts, internal data representation, software systems, programming and stages of program development. So we also have system development life cycles, and then file access methods, internet and networking as well. So programming exam. Now for the systems analysis and design, hold on. Right, so sorry for the technical error, so we're still fixing it on our Facebook's page as well, but the YouTube link is still good. So moving forward, scope for the systems analysis and design. So these are the topics like management, organization, structure and function, information systems development life cycle. So these may include systems investigation or fact finding, system requirements definition, logical design, and so on. And we also have for the SAD exam, systems control, testing and maintenance, and communication skills. All right. So next, please. So what are the expected outcomes and output for this examination? Now, the test is a mechanism to evaluate the competence of an individual to perform programming or systems analysis and design functions. All right. It can be used to assess an individual's knowledge and skills for the purpose of continually improving own technical abilities. Now, by knowing the nature and scope of the test, ICT training centers are encouraged to enrich their curricula to enable their students to have better chance of joining the core of competent ICT professionals. That is why the purpose of our webinar for today, that we are collaborating with the CHED, our Commission on Higher Education, and we really appreciate the fact that you guys, especially with the spearheading of the CHED regional office, gave us this chance to promote the ICT proficiency exam. All right. And then who are the beneficiaries or the sectors served for this ICT exam? So we cater to the national government agencies, and their regional or satellite offices, We also cater to the state or private and local government universities and colleges. And then we also have the LGUs and of course the general population. And next slide, please. All right, we understand po that we have technical difficulties in our audio in the Facebook page. So we also included the link for the YouTube page, so you can switch there as well while we are fixing the audio for the Facebook Live. All right, now to continue, what is the exam process? Now, so we have included the link for the YouTube page, so you can switch there as well while we are fixing the 2 hours. All right, and then the hands-on exam. Once you pass the written exam, you can now qualify to take the hands-on exam or the certification proper. No, and then once you pass that examination or the certification, you will use the certificate that you will be using, that you will be getting from the ICT to apply for the electronic data processing specialist eligibility in the civil service. So which is an equivalent to the civil service career service eligibility professional. All right. So we will learn more about that later from our speaker in the Civil Service Commission Region 7. So stay tuned. All right, now to continue, here are some of the frequently asked questions about the ICT Proficiency Certification exam. So number one, what is the ICT Proficiency Certification Examination? Again, it is designed to evaluate the competence of an individual to perform programming, analysis, and design functions. All right. So what civil service eligibility will be granted to the successful examinees? So as mentioned earlier, it is what we call the EDP Specialist Eligibility or the EDPSE. It shall be conferred to passers of the proficiency certification exam or passers of the training courses conducted by the DICT through the National ICT Competency Management Service, NCM, or now what we call the ICT Literacy and Capacity Building, Capacity Development Bureau, no? So from where we are. And then this is in pursuant to the Civil Service Resolution number 90-083, dated January 22, 1990. All right, so what positions can the earned eligibility be applied to? All right, so the EDP shall be considered appropriate only to functionally related positions belonging to the information technology or MIS, Management Information System Group, and to other positions as may be determined by the Civil Service Commission. All right, next question. So what are the benefits of the proficiency certification exam? All right, so the examination can be used as a substitute or equivalent to a CSC professional eligibility. So it can also be used by supervisors to evaluate the competence of current or would-be programmers or systems analysts. That's why we are also reaching out to the private sector, especially to the BPOs, to the ICT industry, to have their MIS group or their IT professionals take this certain exam, to measure their capacity. All right. Now, all right. Next, it could be used by an individual as well to assess his or her knowledge and skills for the purpose of continually improving his or her own technical abilities. And lastly, it could also be used by the ICT training centers to enrich their curricula to enable their students to have a better chance of joining the court of competent ICT professionals. Of course, if you have this certification from the government, no, from an accredited training institution, that would be an edge for our fresh graduates as well, no, and to the young, na that will be their edge in applying for jobs in the ICT industry. All right, now next. All right, so what is the proficiency certification process? Now, so we have this, what we call the ABC in the certification process. Now, so first we have the assess. Now, so all prospective examinees will be assessed by an authorized DICT representative. So this for Region 7 and 8, that will be from our team. And the tool which the Competency Standards and Certification Management, or CSCM division, will design will be written examination that will assess the examiner's knowledge in programming. For at the meantime, there is no exam yet or questionnaires yet for the SAD. No, at the moment we only have a programming set of questions. No? So the score attained from this assessment forms 30% of the total score of the examinee should he or she pass the assessment and takes the hands-on certification examination. So passing score for the assessment is 25. So in the event that you pass the assessment, the written assessment, we will let you know that result will actually take about 2 to 3 weeks for at the regional level. No? So we have to make sure that when you apply, you provide us the correct email address and a reachable mobile number so that we can communicate the results to the passers. Next process is the build process. Now, so those who will not pass the assessment may have to undergo additional hours of training or learning activities that will enhance the examinee's knowledge in skills in programming. So it is strongly recommended that universities use the programming curriculum of DICT or have their own curriculum accredited by the department through the NICM or the ILCTB. So we are actually making steps to engage with CHED as to the accreditation process of the schools that offer ICT related courses so that their curriculum will be in line. And we are actually looking at having these programming languages be electives in the in college, so that they will have some sort of a review for the ICT proficiency exam. All right, and then next, please. And then the next process is the certifying. So those who pass the assessment will be eligible to take the ICT proficiency certification examination. So this will be administered by an authorized CSCM staff. So we understand that there were questions why there wasn't any certification in the previous years. No, this is actually for the reason that we need to have 25 passers of the assessment or the written exam to conduct the certification exam, which our team from the central office will need to proctor, and they need to come here. However, in the recent exams that were administered by the DICT Visayas Cluster 2, the number did not reach 25. No, so for at this time, so we have actually a go signal from the central office to administer the certification for those who passed in 2017 up to 2020 or 2021, even though they don't reach 25, as long as the process is like video conference, and the team from center office will still be the ones to provide to administer the exam, but it will still be held here in our office, or if we have a venue that can cater. Of course, social distancing measures should also be implemented. All right. Next, please. So an examinee who gets a total rating of 80% or higher is considered ICT proficient. Now, hence, he or she will be conferred with DICT's Certificate of ICT Proficiency, which is the basis of CSC's conferment of the EDP or ICT Specialist Eligibility. Now, who can take the proficiency certification? Now, to qualify, an applicant must be a Filipino citizen, of course, and a bachelor's degree holder, or will graduate before the exam date. So there has to be a certification by the dean of the school and must have undergone formal training in a college or training institution. Now, so for example, we have the certification schedule sometime in April. No? So those who will be graduating in March can take the examination, the written examination, if it's scheduled in before April. Now they can still take as long as they have a certification from their dean that they are part of the graduating batch of March 2021. All right, next. What is the coverage of the proficiency certification examination? Also, we had this in detail earlier, but just to give you a short, a brief, follow up on the topics for the assessment. So these are the topics like program simulation, number system, data structures, system development lifecycle, object-oriented programming concepts, and then networking concepts, file access methods, and database concepts. On the other hand, these are the topics for the hands-on exam. So you must know data manipulation, file handling, and database manipulation. Next question. What languages can be used in the hands-on examination? So examinees may use any of the following programming languages. Now, we also would like to emphasize that in filling out the application form, the link will be posted later on. You have to check whether it's for programming or SAD. So at the meantime, we have programming, and then check also on that part where they you need to input or to check what specific language you will be using during the hands-on examination. So we have C language, C#, C++, Java, Visual Basic version 6, and VB.NET. So we understand that there are already new programming languages that most of the programmers are using nowadays. So, but since daghan pa mas nagamit ani niyang languages, so but we are looking into possibilities soon to incorporate or to include the new programming languages such as Python, Reason, OCaml, NIM, and other new trends in the programming languages. All right, next question. So what is the application process? So an individual interested to take the assessment should accomplish the DICT application form. The link will be provided later, and submit it to the FOO cluster focal person or to the registrar at the DICT central office. Now for in Region 7, you may submit your applications here in our office in the port area, or you can also email it on our email addresses. We will provide the email addresses, or you can also check on the address that is on our screen there. We will definitely take those applications as well. All right, so we understand we have questions here on our stream and on our Google Meet. So we will address that later on our Q&A form. All right, so next, please. So those who will pass the assessment will take the proficiency certification, should submit to the above mentioned persons or to our ICDB team the following documents before the examination date. So remember, you need to have 2 passport-sized pictures with name tag, certified true copies of the TOR, duly authenticated by the registrar of the school or the HRD manager of the office, excuse me. So for those graduating before the examination date, a certification from the dean that the applicant is a candidate for graduation before the exam date and has taken relevant ICT subjects in college. And then, of course, very important to have a photocopy of your NSO birth certificate. All right. Next, now we move on to what support we need from the schools, especially to those other CHED, no, and the HAIs in the region as well. So first, we definitely need your help in promoting the ICT Proficiency exam through advocacy caravan or through social media platforms. No? So we will coordinate with the schools, or if we can coordinate it directly from CHED, that we will be conducting caravan during the career orientation for the graduating students to take the exam. And then we'll also be posting the link of our tutorial videos or informative videos about the ICT proficiency, what they need to know, the FAQs. The link will be posted later, so stay tuned as well. So another support that we need from our teachers, of course, we encourage or get as much students to take the exam for career development. No? So, and then encourage or if possible require all ICT teachers to take the exam and be certified, of course. No? And we actually heard of a certain school who are requiring their teachers to be certified on this exam so that they will become regularized, right? Some of them are just, also job orders, and then so they can take this. And then, if possible, we request that you can conduct mock exams, no, or review before students take the actual exam using the topical guidelines of the ICT. And lastly, we also would need your support in providing us an examination venue like a computer lab or a gym that we can hold a certain exam. So we have initial talks with the LGUs in Cebu province. Then they are very willing to lend us their gym so that we can administer the examination, of course, with following as well the protocols for social distancing. So stay tuned, keep posted on our schedules, on the final schedules. We target this year now to reach the provinces, especially katong mga estudyante nga dili makaya nga moari o DICT office sa Cebu or sa among main offices sa each province. We will do our best not to go to the province. So we had initial talks with Barili on the southern part of Cebu, and then we have already talked with San Remigio in the northern part of Cebu. So we will definitely post the tentative schedules as well on our Facebook pages. So keep posted. Next. All right. So yan, initial lang may schedules na mo by Feb, March, and April. Since we cannot travel pa, no, we still have travel restrictions to go to the other provinces under our area of responsibility. So we will prioritize muna yung Cebu province, and then so we have, there are the dates for February, March, April, but those are tentative dates as well. So in Bohol, we definitely will be doing that in March to, in cooperation with hopefully the LGU, that they can provide venue. No? So since our office there is not so big, no? So initiative that we will definitely be implementing in the succeeding months. No? So here in our DICT Cebu office, we will be conducting the written exam every Friday. No? So the link to the application form will be posted on our Facebook page, or as well as in the description here. And then you need to submit it, and we won't accept muna walk-ins during the day, no, of the examination on Friday. We will need to receive your application form, and then we will call you and then schedule you for the exam on which Friday you want to be taking. And then, of course, we will also cater to Nag-Or province and one other province in Region 7, the City 4. All right. So we will also be doing the same, no, webinar for Region 8. So don't worry if you miss the Google Meet link. No, so we will definitely be replicating this webinar, and we'll also give the schedules for the ICT Proficiency in Region 8. Next, please. All right, so we are looking into having the certifications, no, in June 2021. So those who will take from January to May can take the certification in June, and then for the second SEM, we will conduct it in November. All right. Do you still have more? Okay, so I think that's it for our presentation for the ICT Proficiency exam. Again, put your questions and comments and on our chat panel on Google Meet, and we will also provide the links, the important links regarding the ICT Proficiency exam later on. So thank you so much, and good afternoon. Slides din pala will be provided to you guys.
Thank you so much, Ms. T, for the information. So, sa kanan, actually, the ICT proficiency for me is very useful, especially for those IT students. And also, I graduated from CIT. My DN is here. This is very useful. So, magamit ni kada tag sa estudyante, and it could really calibrate how that student is really, what do you call this, how he or she is doing his studies as an IT grad. Kay karon, it's very, what do you call this, very competitive, because there's a saying, innovation meets demand. So each student na mo graduate, if they want to really market themselves, ma-employ, this is for me one of the things. And Ma'am Dina, daghang salamat ato nga information. So right now, since Ms. T was able to give us the idea what is ICT proficiency in the examination, let us also know how to apply for the eligibility from the civil service or the electronic data processing specialist eligibility, or EDPSE. To get more insights on this, please help me welcome Ma'am D. Villavicencio, HR Specialist 2 of Civil Service Commission Region 7. Ma'am Villavicencio, may hapon.
Hello, maayong hapon. May dungog ra ko?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay. Allow me to share my screens for that. Saan siya? For a while, I'm having a technical issue.
Okay, not a problem.
Ma'am, ito dito ko share. Nawala lagi siya.
Okay. Hi, maayong hapon. Tingnan ko sila. For a while.
Maayong hapon po.
Good afternoon.
Hello, maayong hapon sa tanan. Pasensya na no, it's my first time to use Google Teams. Google Teams ba? Oh. Maayong hapon. This is in behalf of our regional director na at Civil Service Commission, Director Carlos Evangelista, and our chief at the Examination Services Division, Ms. Lorda Villaflor. So, we are invited to share about this electronic data processing specialist eligibility. Although I'm from the Examination Services Division, however, aside from the conduct of regular exams throughout the for at least twice a semester, twice a year rather, Examination Services Division is also tasked to grant special eligibility, just like the electronic data processing specialist eligibility. Maklaro lagi hapon ako ang tingog. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So we will proceed. So as mentioned earlier by Ma'am Redina, electronic data processing is granted under the CSC resolution number 9083 dated January 22. So who are qualified to apply for this eligibility? So the persons are qualified are those who are conferred with the proficiency test or training course, which is based on MC13 series of 2018. These are the Systems Analyst and Design, Computer Programming, Java, MS Access, Visual Basic, C Sharp, and VB.NET. So far, those are the list of proficiency tests or training courses offered by the ICT that serves as the basis for the Civil Service Commission to grant the EDPSE eligibility. So appropriateness, so they shall be considered, or the EDPSE eligibility shall be considered appropriate for the positions belonging to the Information Technology Management Group. By the way, we would like to clarify that there's a prescription period for filing. So if you took or passed the proficiency examination conducted by the DICT, we have to remind those who wanted to avail for the grant of the EDPSE eligibility that they only have at least 3 years from the date of issuance of their certificate of proficiency to apply for the EDPSE eligibility. So if they applied 3 years after or 4 years after, so their application will no longer be accepted, no, because they only have 3 years of prescriptive period. So what are the documentary requirements? This is actually makita ra ni siya sa ato ang website. The forms, this is Form 101 revised 2011. Passport size ID picture, specification can be obtained from the website, CSE website. Original and photocopy of valid ID with date of birth. Original and photocopy of PSA birth certificate. For female married applicants, aside from your PSA birth certificate, you also have to present your PSA authenticated marriage contract. By the way, we have to clarify for those who would want to avail the special eligibility at Civil Service Commission, if your PSA authenticated birth certificate or marriage contract is not eligible, so please support it with the local civil register issued birth certificate or marriage contract. So, and last, for the general or general documentary requirements, they have to execute a certification of no pending administrative case. So this form is available only po sa website nato, and they no longer need to have their certification of no pending case kanang kuan dili na nila kinahanglan ipa-notarize sa abogado. Pwede na to ilang perma and their left and right thumbprint. So for the specific documentary requirements, for those who took the training course, their requirements is original and certified copy of the Certificate of Proficiency, original and photocopy of the Certificate of Completion, and original and photocopy of their grade slip. For the proficiency test passer, however, their requirements are original and certified copy of the Certificate of Proficiency and original and photocopy of their notification slip. So where to file your application? So application for EDPSE specialists are granted at the CSE regional office. So modes of filing. So they can apply in person. However, for now, no, we would like to clarify that CSE are not accepting walk-in clients. So if you are interested to apply to Civil Service Commission or even to obtain a copy of your certificate, we highly encourage everyone to please book your appointment through www.peaktime.com/CSCRO7. Another mode of filing for application for EDPSE is filing through a representative. However, they have to write an authorization letter, ball pen sign, and of course, the second person representative must also present his or her valid ID. And also, applicants may send their application via mail. Of course, availment of the EDPSE's eligibility with a payment. So this includes the 200 pesos evaluation fee and the processing fee of 300 pesos. So the availment of the special eligibility costs all in all 500 pesos. And also we would like to stress out that the 500 pesos payment does not include certification. So once approved, the grantee of the eligibility will request certification of eligibility, and it comes with another payment and of course another set of requirements. So I think that's all for the grant of the EDPSE eligibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Villavicencio. That was very informative, especially for those who are really inclined in doing or going to apply for the ICT Proficiency. Daghang salamat. And for that, let us give a shout out to our Facebook followers in the ICT. Daghang salamat sa follow na to karon sa atong webinar all about ICT Proficiency. And most of our followers has question on so naay question dere, so dili pwede ang EDPS sa dili IT or MIS. To answer that one, that's correct. The ICT Proficiency is really into the IT industry. So, especially for those who are working in the government, gamit gid kayo siya. Okay. And shout out to our followers here, Christopher E. Zerna, maayong hapon. And Marlon Divina, maayong hapon. And to Mamona Arcaya, maayong hapon. And before that, let us also know what are the things or the other products that the ICT has. And we would like to also promote the PNPKI, or the Philippine National Public Key Infrastructure, to be shared by our own provincial officer, Sir Royden Roshana. Sir Royden, ngayong hapon. Sir Royden.
Pardon us with the difficulties. We were trying to fix this. Sir Royden, are you? Kindly check your audio, please. Sir Royden, now kindly check your audio. Your audio, please, sir. For the questions being asked, we will be answering those once we're done with the presentation. Sir Royden, audio is not yet okay, sir, for you. Pardon us, we'll just try to fix the audio of Engineer Royden Roshana. Sir, we don't hear anything. Sir Greg, yes, we will be having an open forum after this presentation. Kindly stay in line. We will be having those. If you have questions, we have speakers from civil service, from the ICT, who can answer any questions, any query in relation to ICT proficiency. Sir Royden? Engineer Royden Roshana, are you okay?
Una na siguro pa, sir. Tapos, could we have kamute siya?
Kana. Kina dong?
Yes.
Sige. Sorry ah. Malayo ka kung kan. Sige, share ko. Na-share na dong?
Wapa, sir.
Kana.
On the way.
Yes, sir.
Kana.
Yes.
Sige. Okay, sorry ah. May hapon sa tanan, no? Sa ato ang like sa may team diri sa Department of ICT, no? Besides Cluster 2 with the CHED, Sir Jojo, and sa Civil Service, and to all our participants from the HEI, no? Ang mga executive nila din ha, sa mga IT staffs or directors. Medyo singit lang ni ako, no? Gamay lang. Taas man gud ni siya na presentation, but usan is mga services tingali para nako dugay naman ni siya, but sa pagkakaroon god very important ni siya, labi na sa with collaboration of CHED and to the academies, no, kay with the pandemic posible na ma-solve ang atong mga like interventions na kinahanglan sa government na malikayan ang kanang physical, no. So usa ni siya sa services sa Department of ICT, and way back 2015 pa ni siya, no. And wala lang kay ni siya pansin na, no, kay tingali dili pa siya hinog, no. But tungod sa COVID-19 na di na ta pwede na ano, a new normal na siya, and there must be a system na i-introduce na kinahanglan mo disrupt aning kuan, no? Disrupted na daan sa COVID-19. Okay, so PNPKI, no? Pagkain at kabuhayan. It's a Philippine National Public Key Infrastructure. Okay, so it's under the Cyber Security Bureau ng Department of ICT. So under siya sa Digital Certificate Division. Okay, so there are 3 manggod, no? Okay, and nationwide na niyang established na niyang mga PNPKI thing, no? And sa Region 7 dugay na taan ni, but karon lang lately lang ang JED, no? This year most of the kanang regional office staff and officials are registered na to the PKI or the issuance of the certificate, no? So we're handling Region 8 and 7, no? But sa pagkakaroon gamay pa lang, no? And tingali I encourage na all HEIs, especially katong sa mga registrars, no? And with Sir Jojo sa kanang kuan information is to enroll also with the digital certificate or the PKI services kay like kana bitong like CAB certification ma-digitize na siya. So I don't know, di kayo ko suito sa services sa SCHED, but daghan na ma-benefits ani using digitally signed certificates or documents na mas madali, no? And one of the example is when we discuss it with and one of the issues na ni-adapt ani is the CTU, no? And although naay mga gamay nga like I don't know what are the kanang issuance of kanang TORs, but it's agreed na nila na the first copy would be the printout, and the next copy would be digitally signed. So I don't know unsa na siya pag-resolve, but pwede na gyud na siya, no, para madali na like for example a student or an employee in abroad in OFW nya kinahanglan siya og masteral o nya kinahanglan siya magkuha sa iyang TOR na kinahanglan pa siya i-undergo pa siya og CAB siya na, then usa pa i-release sa registrar, which is it takes time, but kinahanglan sa iyong employer diha dayon. So the only way to fast track the process is using digitally signed documents. Okay, so the ICT provides secure digital certificates to the public, no? So usa ni siya sa mga, and karon lately lang mga sa COVID, no? So naay mga press releases ang DICT, no? To use electronic transactions for public service, no? Okay, so gi-open ni DICT sa tanan, no? And daghan pa na agency ang ni kuan ani, no, ni register to name mga even ang COMELEC, no, mo-adapt na sad sila ani digitization of government service in the new normal. So it is your kanang mahog ni siya like we're going into the direction of the national ID system. So PKI is a service na mo na himuon mo na digital or ID nimo online. So mo na siya equivalent as your ID in online transactions, no? So okay, so dili lang tingali kayo na kung hutdo ni tanan, no, kay mo take og time, mawagtang ta sa tuang primary gid nga topic karon adlaw. So tingali kuan lang nina ako no. Philippine National PKI is public key infrastructure. It's a system no, no, which gihiman siya more services sa DICT no. So tingali kanina lang nga video no ang pwede na ko ma-share sa inyo. Ito no kung naay siya sound.
Wala yung audio, sir.
Wala siya audio. Okay, so sige. Okay, so it solves queuing no. Then amo na lang i-send ang katong ang link sa video para katong interesado no. So it's a bureaucracy of the government no. Taas ang linya, daghang kliyente no. So solution is like for example sa NBI no. It's an online applications no. Ang NBI online na siya but like GSIS and NBI pero murag hybrid pa siya kay they're not using the digital certificates. So kinahanglan pa ta mo adto no. So with the COVID dapat like GSIS ng mga pensioner din nila number 1 sila dakpon adto sila opisina sa GSIS no. Fully online gyud siya. So the only way mag-virtual ka niya ang document nimo nga signan is digitally signed. Okay? So tingali mo lang tingali ang akong ma-demonstrate ninyo ang katong online signed documents no. Okay, so naay mga like securities no, barcode, QR codes. So that's the solutions no. So we need the kanang tawag bitaw nila like binding no. Ang QR code na mga quarantine pass sa Cebu, like for example sa Cebu City, ipasa-pasa ra maglaing mga tao. So wala gid siya di gyud na to masolbad ang kanang kuan no. No, but using digitally signed or so na siya binding no. So meaning once you handle this kanang document online, it's just like kanang getting a license bitaw. So same repon siya nga process no. You have to operate from our office here pero kung dili online nga verification no. So virtual but ang importante na kini nga document nga gisignan nimo using your certificate ikaw gyud ni. So di ka ka-deny no. So those are features and kanang features ato ang PKI no. So which is the digital signature. So karon kung naanad mo og sa inyong respective na mga institutions digital signature or the e-signature no, wala pa na siya binding, meaning pwede pa na siya ma-photoshop, ilisan, but if gamitan na to na siya kanang PKI no, so mahimo na siya ang digital certificate, ang kanang imuhang digital signature na siya binding nimo no. So mo na makita kung kinsa ang nag-sign. So di ka limod nga wala ka nag-sign no. So with the work from home di makaadto ang mga tao, and even kanang mga secretaries karon sa national government kanang ilahang mga department circulars, mga memorandums digamit na sad sila og digital signed na kanang document no. Okay, so it's a systems process no. So taas pa ni siya no. Ako lang ko ano no. So the main component niya is it's a technology no. We call that cryptography no. So it's a bunch of kanang codes no. Then plus the digital certificates. Okay? So medyo technical ni siya no. So it's a mathematical science to encrypt and decrypt data. Okay? So in public key infrastructure sa nga atong gi-offer is duha ni siya, the public key and the private key no. So those public keys will be shared to all no. And ang private key like more siya password. So dapat naa sa imo downloaded to like keep nimo, no? So way makibaw para di ma-compromise imong signature. Okay? So sumurg ingon na siya nga concept. Okay? I-lock siya, and the only way to open the letter is ang imuhang private key, no? So encrypted siya and decrypted. Okay? So medyo technical siya. Okay? So what is a digital certificate? No, it's a very small file, no. So actually, kung makaabil mo aning services is it can be downloaded through email and ibutang ninyo sa inyong mga laptops, no. So gamay ra kay ni siya, it's a kilobyte ra siya, gamay ra jud kay siya. Dako pa nang kanang usa ka song. Okay? So it's an electronic passport that allows person computer to exchange information securely over the internet, no? Kaya ang internet di man siya secured, no? So with the PKI, kung naa kay digital certificate, maka-assure ka na secured ang imong communication, okay? So public and private. Okay, so mao ni ang itsura sa digital certificates, no? So naay pangan, kinsa nag-issue, mao ni ang mga, and there is validity, no? And so like 2 years ang iyang kanang kung ma-issuehan mo is 2 years ang iyang validity, meaning karon sa DICT libre pa ni siya, no? So abil na mo kay para makabil mo sa libre, no? Basin ana ni presyo ini ka kuan 2022 wata kay baw. But sa pagkakaroon libre pa ni siya, no? It's a services and it's free for like for all, no? For public use. Okay? So duha ka book ang among ihatag, authentication and signing, no? So authentication can be used for kanang like logging in, no, to website, no, kay kung mag digital na ang tanang services sa gobyerno, ang GSIS, mo to kung ingon ni ang NBI, Pag-ibig. So the only way nga maka-access ka sa imong account is using your certificate. So kung wala kay certificate sa SSS, wala, di ka ka-access sa imong account, so di ka ka-loan. So ganahan bata na mag-loan na naratas tong balay, no? Yung musod sa ato ang ATM or GCash. So usa ni siya sa mga features niya, no? But sa pagkakaroon wala pa man ka tanan ni adapt, no? Okay? So agency certificate, kung naamoy mga servers na sa mga ihatag ng mga certificate, kung naamoy mga like sites, no? So secured sites kay requirement man ng sites sa Google, like i-blacklist man ka, okay? So what is a digital signature, no? An electronic signature. So ang uban electronic signature pero wala gina gi-scan ra nimo, wala siya bearing kay wala man siya kanang pwede ra man siya ma-erase, ma-photoshop or ma-edit. But with digital certificate di gid siya nimo mausab, no? Like for example kana, no? So it's a digital na, like digital signing, no? So ang document imo siyang signan and there's a hashing over the internet. So there's a verifier, meaning there's a validation server, no? Na kaning tawhana ni sign ani nga document siya gid ni. Okay? So like digital signing memorandums, no? Yeah, upat ka feature sa PKI, no? Authentication, confidentiality, integrity, and non-repudiation. Okay? So naana niya ang tanang upat nga security features. Okay? Non-repudiation, di nyo kakalimod na dili ikaw ang nag-sign, no? Ikaw gid na. Okay? So maoro man tingali ni and there are legal bases, no? For the PKI. No, one is the Electronic Commerce Act of 2000, no? RE 8792. Okay? Naa siya sa Section 8. Legal recognition of electronic signatures, no? So mana siya. 8792 EO 810 says of 2009, no? So all government agencies instrumentalities providing e-government services to its clients shall require the use of digital data in their respective e-government services. So wala magdoble yun niya kung magbayad o ka ng mga ayuda, no? Wala magdoble. And Supreme Court role on evidence, no? So naa siya da. Electronic signature or digital authenticate in the manner prescribed under admissible in evidence as the functional equivalent of signature of a person on a written document. So, murag siya as if murag gisuwat ikaw yung suwat ana, no? Imong gipirmahan. On also with the GPPB, no, kay sa procurement, no, e-procurement law. So magamit ni siya sa inyong mga sa HEI tingali, I don't know, no, but sa mga government, no, gamit ni siya DBM circular, COA circular na asad. And latest na mga kaning sa anti-red tape authority, okay? So kung traditional na to na gigamit karon, no, like create, print, sign, scan, share, so those are processes na so bankrupt ang print ang ning Epson og ang brother, no, with less paperwork flows, no. So create ka, sign na nimo, then share. Inana siya ka simple. So mas paspas, mas dali. Okay? And I think financial benefits mo ning importante na do. So mo diretso na lang ko sa and demonstration kung unsa gini siya. Like for example kaning certificate na ako, no, during our training 2015 pa lang siya. So this certificate was scanned and was akong gi-open karon og Adobe, pamilya mo, PDF file, okay? So with this certificate na ni siya, ako na siyang gibutangan og digital signature, no, kaning naa diri sa lower right, okay? So lower ordinary na document, kung imo siyang i-scan na i-PDF, so wala. But with this kanang digitally signed, sa upper right niya na siya gitawag og signature panel, no? Ako ni siyang i-click ang signature panel, mugawas ni din na siya signed by me, no? Kanus ana ko gi-sign kung siya mga detalye din na makita on the left side sa panel niya sa Adobe Reader, no? So ingon na siya ka so meaning authentication or authenticity of the document kuan gid siya, wa siya ilalis diha dapita, no? So mao ni siya usa makita nimo na the document is signed by a person na kinsa ni tawhana, it's validated nya kanang siya gyud ang nag-sign ani, okay? So tingali mao ni siya makasulbad sa kanang mga like said to HEI requirements or transactions, no? So tingali niya akong ma-share sa PKI, no? But to all HEI please apply, no, para ang CHED na naman, so at least basin ang katong mga lagyo like in other provinces ba mas paspas ang paghatag nila sa like cab or whatever, okay? So tingali maura na akong ma-share ninyo sa pagkakaroon kay taas man gud siya kung i-discuss gyud nato, no, thoroughly. So and thank you. So Ari,
Sir Royden, thank you for your time in sharing PN, PKI. And let's go ahead sa itong pinaka-last nga present. It's one of the products or projects of the ICT, and that is our Tech for Ed, to be discussed by our coordinator for Region 7, Sir Aris Zeta.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll just run through this particular presentation since we don't have much time. This is just one of the projects of the ICT wherein we provide since ngayon po, di ba, in the new norm, most likely we are using devices to learn, to engage, to transact, andito po lahat. So with the ICT, we're trying to reach out to those people, not just students, but for people who are using the gadgets. Now, with the Tech for Ed, it's more on a partnership with the stakeholder wherein makikipag-partner kami sa isang LGU, schools, to put up a center to provide and parang assistance to those individual who are to be in, mas gusto lang matuto sa paggamit ng mga gadgets. As of 2020, these are the hindi ko lang iano to kasi medyo mataas. Ito po yung data natin sa the whole Philippines. So, yan ang natin sa buong Pilipinas. Ha? Again, pardon me, something's wrong. Nakashare na. Nakashare na. Sorry, a bit of a problems technically. So this is our mission with the ICT, wherein we wanted to have an innovative, safe, and happy nation that thrives through and it is enabled by information technology, communications technology. So sa Tech for Ed, yung mga sectors namin nakalista yan, out of school youth, educators, teachers, kasi most likely if you're going to the streets, pag kailangan mo ng information, i-google mo yan. But the problem is, not all posted information in Google are valid. So with the ICT, we wanted to have it corrected. So the ICT presented this particular project. I'll just run through this po ha, kasi medyo mataas. It would take at least 3 days to have this training. So bago tayo mag-open forum for the questions and answer, ito lang po isang sidekick ng the ICT. With the Tech for Ed basic services, this is what we have. As you can see, may mga students, policemen, mga BGMP, teachers, students. Kinikater po namin kasi hindi na natin mapipigilan yung paggamit ng gadgets at technology. Lalo na ngayon sa new normal na much needed ang connectivity and to transact in an online basis. So most likely, this is an online platform na mag-register. I'll just run through this because medyo mahaba siya. If in case na gusto niyo more information, I can surely reschedule another meeting that more on focuses on this particular project. So sa Tech for Ed, may 8 contents kami: e-agri, e-marketplace, e-health, gender and development, and resource impact, rural impact sourcing, which is now the digital jobs, e-doc skills, e-assist, and e-gov services. Ito po yung mga nasa loob ng platform namin, wherein it helps a lot to those individuals from farming, to being and from production to finished products. Tinutulungan natin yung farmers. The ICT wish to help the farmers in relation to their kind of field. Kasi pag wala sila, medyo sila kasi yung food and natin eh. From farming, may e-marketplace, yung mga gusto mag-online, may mga tips na yung binibigay. Hindi kasi madali ang mag-online. Online worker or online business kasi medyo may kahirapan siya. Madaling sabihin pero medyo mataas-taas yung, alam mo na. So ito yung mga ng DICT. Ang pangatlo, isang e-health which provides information. Hindi lang po tayo kung anong pinagsasabi sa Facebook, yung pinapopost ng hindi po lahat tama. Kailangan po natin magiging alert kung ano ang yung tamang informasyon na lalo na sa pangkalusugan. Lalo na ngayon na we are nasa COVID-19 tayo na parang medyo ang mga utak ng mga tao ay medyo sa safety and security ng kanilang mga kalusugan. Sa gender and development, meron din po tayo, isa din yan sa content namin sa Tech for Ed. I'll just run through this because it's sinabi ko na kanina, yung rural impact sourcing, which is now the digital jobs we're in. Most of the time, we are going to provinces to conduct trainings. But still, if in case you wanted more information, will just email me kasi gagawa tayo ng panibagong schedule. This is just a run-through. And e-doc skills, which is our presentations to students and teachers na mabigay yung mga tamang informasyon, hindi lang diretso sa Google, at least filtered na yung information na makukuha nila. So ito yung mga laman ng Tech for Ed content under the EEDoc skills, which helps students, learners. Hindi lang po ito isang video na isa ring portal na nagbibigay ng learning capacity to those who wanted to learn, at may mga library po tayo, e-library po tayong nasa loob. Next would be the LEAP, one of our offline tools which improves speech and grammar for those individual who wanted to do, to communicate well in terms of English as a medium. Okay? Kung gusto mag-BPO, yes, this is a good start to, a stepping stone to be. Bale. Next would be ito po isa sa loob ng EEDoc skills, the Let's Read Asia, wherein di po ba nakasanayan na natin ng mga Pilipino yung mga bata natin, kahit ako, when I was young, my mom used to read stories, used to tell me stories. So, if you wanted to, meron tayong mga, hindi lang po sa Pilipinas, but Asia-wide na mga story, which is free, downloadable. Kahit sa cellphone, pwede nating mabasa. And also, since the new normal and the use of gadgets was very, very much high, we wanted to ensure also yung mga young ones to be guided in relation to the usage of technology. Kasi kadalasan po, pag nangyayari kasi, medyo yung mga may edad-edara na, yung mga bata nila mas high-tech pa kaysa mga cellphones nila. Most likely, yung mga adults are using keypads, but the young ones are using smartphones, touchscreen. So, kailangan po nating i-guide yung mga bata for them not to be abused. Medyo critical po kasi yung nakikita nila hindi sa smartphone. Kasi open po kasi yun eh. We just wanted to make it safe. So, isa sa content namin is the e-assist, which helps aims to empower special sectors through access to necessary skills training, content and answers to specific industry needs. Ito yung mga natin na pwedeng makatulong sa mga individual na gusto ma-enhance yung skills nila through ICT, provide opportunities for digital inclusion, medyo yan, which has an equivalent of dapat may social equality tayo. Hindi lang sa panglalaki, hindi lang sa pangbabae, or the third sex, yun. And isa sa mga offline tools, offline at saka online tools to, ito yung career engine na ina-advocate namin. Now, for those individual who wanted to, learn more on ICT skills, even those, kasi lahat naman ata ng mga fields ngayon kailangan na ng ICT. So, for them to have a glance to improve their capacity by using ICT, we have a portal in partnership with DG Bayanihan and other e-assist na it will help to improve your skills and even guide with the internship. Isa po yan sa offline sa online tools natin. And most common is when we wanted to ask or request government certificates such as passport, mga IDs, I'm sorry. Sa ngayon po, most likely marami na pong online, but if you can see somehow in PSA, medyo hindi pa po alam yung iba, nakapila pa rin. So to ensure safety and security, pwede po natin gawing online. Though NBI at saka SSS at saka passport kailangan ng physical appearance, kaya ho may scheduling na pwede natin gawin online. Again, sa lahat po na gustong sa lahat ng institution na wanted to know more about the Tech for Ed project, kindly email me po para po mabigyan natin ng schedule, ma-schedule natin at saka mabigay natin ng tamang oras kung paano natin i-apply ang Tech for Ed project sa inyong area. Ito po yung email address ko, saka yung website natin sa DICT before I transfer you to have a formal forum in relation to the ICT Proficiency. Kasi in ICT Proficiency, pwede pong pumasok kayo dito kasi may mga sa portal namin sa DICT, sa Tech4Ed, pwede po kayong matuto to learn more digitally. Pwede sa cellphone kasi yung platform namin is accessible through smartphone also. So again, if in case kailangan nyo po ng more than enough information in relation to Tech4Ed, ito po yung email address ko. And for those who have attended the who fill up the attendance, magsisend po ako na information. If in case any institution is interested, pwede pong makipag-schedule sa akin at gawin natin yung ano natin. Again, I'll be turning you over to Gerald for the open forum. Sir?
Thank you so much, Sir Aris, for your explanation about our Tech4Ed projects. And sa tanan, dagang salamat po no sa inyong time sa pagpaminaw in regards to ICT Proficiency and for the things that we have learned also in PNTTI and from the civil service. So karon, let's have our open forum. So for those who have questions, you can unmute your mic and let us know your questions or suggestions. And by the way, we do have a question from the chat box from Mom Larmy Feliscoso. She was my chairman in my college days. Do you have plans to cater to proctored online exam? So sa pagkuan sa Ma'am Dina will answer that for you. Okay.
All right, thanks so much for the question, Ms. Larmy. Now, so the question is, do you have plans to cater to proctored online exams? Recently, there is already an online exam through Google Forms for the certification. No, so as mentioned earlier, no, the examinees may still need to go to a specific venue where someone can proctor, and the proctor must be also an ICT certified. But exam is given through online. But when you talk about just staying at home, no, and then having the exam through Google Meet, and then maybe we can raise that in which ang proctor and then the takers should have their cameras on, no. So, but that's still a topic or an issue to be raised, and then we will definitely make an announcement, no, as to the progress of that online exam. For now, we can administer the certification online, but it has to be on a venue, in a venue where a proctor is physically present. That's it. All right. Other questions?
Ma'am, can I ask a question, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Betty. Go ahead, sir.
My question is, it is possible that we will consider the open source programming, because I have observed all your offerings are more on licensed programming languages like Java, VB.NET. It's possible that we will include the open source programming like PHP, Python, Ruby on Rails, because right now there are a lot of companies are hiring programmers using those programming languages. But how can we present the proficiency of the applicants? So let's say, for example, database right now are licensed. Now, how about the company who cannot afford to buy license to develop their own system? So I think this is my opinion. This is my opinion, because right now there are a lot of programmers who are using open source programming languages. Like in UP, we're using open source programming Unlike LaSalle, they are using licensed programming. So I think we will cater everything, every like Facebook using open source programming like PHP, like Ajax. So those are open source programming. I think we will not only limit to those programming languages that are offered by the ICT. Thank you so much.
Yes, that's definitely a great no suggestion. No, as I mentioned earlier, the testing division of the ILCDB or the NCM before is already doing research and steps necessary to include the those open source programming languages like Python and other languages. But for at the meantime, we are catering the traditional ones. But again, we will definitely make a news about it, or we will announce it on our social media pages as soon as we have a go from the central office that we can that they have already made questionnaires that includes these open source programming languages. Thank you
Alice
so much.
and Gerald,
Chairman.
I'd like to butt in because I'm actually moving from one meeting to the other. I'd just like to share this one. First, I have so much confidence in this kind of undertaking to pursue some kind of proficiency exam. I do well support it. But connecting with the question of mapping, although I have to express that Java is open source, C is an open standard, so it's still something that can be embraced. So the issue here is that even connecting with it, there's a bit of confusion. Up to what extent are we looking at in terms of compliance with respect to a typical computing program, whether it's an IT, CS, IS, or computer engineering? That's why there's a bit of confusion. Is it something that we check out at the intermediate level or at the fundamental level? So that's why my suggestion is, I'm strongly suggesting it. That is, number one, we do a mapping of topics that is covered in your examination so that we in the academe, together with Jed, Dr. Jojo is around, we can actually check it out. What particular level are we seeing in terms of the congruence of these topics? So that, let's say, for example, if MEPI says like PHP needs to be part of that, then we'll do it. But remember, PHP, we offer PHP somewhere in the second year, second semester. It's not at the fundamental. Because if what will come out in the mapping is that we are only catering to the first 2 or 3 semesters, then by all means, we actually capture these topics and we can even have this delivered within the confines of the different universities and colleges. Second, after being able to map out, then we can actually come up with a refresher or a reviewer program. I, for one, have been involved in the several ICT preparation exams, like, for example, the one mentioned by Dr. Jojo, together with Dr. Cherry and Larmy and all who are actually around. It's very critical that there should be some kind of advocacy for this. And when you say advocacy, it's not just simply declaring that these are the topics. Advocacy starts well with connecting with the different topics that are delivered with the university. If you are wanting to have a good, a huge amount of people embracing this kind of certification exam. And third is, frankly speaking, there's really a need to pursue the delivery. I support the comment of Larmy, or the query of Larmy, that there should be one that should be delivered online. I mean, in the rest, I took 3 certification exams during the pandemic, and yes, ma'am, you're correct. There's some kind of a tool, like, for example, if you go for Moodle, there's Safe Exam Browser that controls the movement of the use of the browser. And also, how do you call this, in tandem, there's the use of a virtual conference just to make sure that the one taking the exam is presently there. So, and then frankly speaking, like, I'm not sure whether the physical exam would really work if we're looking at the year 2021. I'm very apprehensive with that. So with that, those are just my comments. But then again, at the end of the day, I truly support any certification exam for this because it simply levels the playing field for everyone, regardless of whatever university or college you're from. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Great point. No, well, very well said, Sir Greg, Victor, and I think Mom Sherilyn would like to add something.
Yes, okay. So actually, Greg and I, we are part of the CHED Technical Committee, no?
So I'm part of the technical committee for computer science of CHED. So we are part of the group of people who developed the curriculum for computer science, IT, and information systems. So I agree with Greg that if we want to make sure that our students pass the certification exam, we have to do the mapping. Now, I do not know if this was discussed. I saw your topics, but more than the topics, because the topics are actually not very useful for a student, can you actually give the learning outcomes? Like, what are they supposed to do? Should they be able to design a database given a specification? Should they be able to query this database? Should they be able to write programs using loops or something like that? I hope that there are more details that you can give us so that once you have those details, then we can start mapping.
Yes, definitely, Ms. Sherilyn. Very well said points, no, that we need a mapping and as well as more rigid, no, or stronger learning outcomes. And then, in fact, there will be an accreditation orientation that will be scheduled perhaps in the first quarter, and we can definitely raise the points that Sir Craig and Ma'am Sherilyn and Sir Meti raised earlier. So thank you so much for your inputs. No, again, we will continue to communicate with CHED Region 7. Not only that, we will also go to the level of the central office for CHED so that these outcomes, no, of our webinar will be raised to the highest. So
thank you.
Thank you so much. We still have actually questions from our viewers on Facebook and YouTube. Let me just highlight one question from our Facebook page. I think this is essential. So this is from Gerard. Good day. I just have a query about ICT proficiency eligibility. Can non-IT graduates proceed with the eligibility? So the answer here is yes. Again, the one of the requirements is that you have to be a Filipino citizen and you have to be a bachelor's degree holder, but it is not specified that you have to be an IT graduate. No, so any course that has anyone who would like to apply, as long as they have bachelor's degree and has undergone formal training. It could not necessarily be in college or in your bachelor's degree, but it could be from your postgraduate, like in a vocational school. And then we will definitely need your copy of DOR and the certificates that you have undergone programming training. So I hope that clears your question, Sir Gerard. Do we have still questions? I understand there are a lot of questions from our guests this afternoon, but due to time constraint, we can only accommodate some. So next, Gerald. So we have a question from Sir Petmar Saing. Yeah.
Can we ask for a presentation? Yes, we will give you some of our presentation today. Just make sure you answer the evaluation sheet that I will post today after this webinar.
Okay.
And by the way, Sir Benji B. Linteria, why is it that the attendance, the title is, for the attendance, the title was, we do apologize for that one. It was not yet edited when I made the attendance link. But rest assured that is the attendance for this webinar.
So again, we have put in the link to the application form on our Google Meet and as well as on our descriptions on the live on Facebook. If you have questions about the application process, you can definitely message us on Facebook or email us on the email addresses that are on the screen. So what else? What other important questions aside from those discussed? Do you have questions about the other projects that were discussed, like the PNPKI and the Tech for Ed? Maybe we can address some. Just to clarify po, these written schedules, is it the assessment of the certification or thank you? Yeah, so earlier we flashed the tentative schedules that's for the written exam or the assessment. The written assessment. So for the 4 regions pa, atong i-flash. And then, don't worry, we will also announce it on our Facebook page, the final schedules of the exam. All right. So other questions, Jack? Can you read some before we take a photo op?
Okay,
And for those also who would like to speak out, feel free to unmute yourselves on our Google Meet. We have more questions from you guys.
so we have a question here from our Facebook follower, Rem Zeb Orb. Maybe it is equivalent to CSC Prof if the position applying for is related to IT and MIS. Yes, that is correct. I answered that a while ago, that if you are applying for or answering for this ICT Proficiency examination, this is really for the IT or in the government agencies who are in the MIS or in the IT department. So for example, if you are not yet regular, you could answer this examination as an eligibility equivalent to a civil service eligibility, what do you call that one, assessment.
All right, my important question din no, si Sir Arnel on our Facebook page. So National Computer Center Certified Computer Programmer na ako. Can this be converted to the ICT certification? So we'll be clearing that out. I think NCC is one of the branches of the katong before pa na gama ang DICT. So I think your certification should have a certain credit, no, equivalent to the DICT certification. But we will definitely raise that to the central office regarding the question that you have. But please stay keep posted on that. Good point. No?
For the teachers, educators who have questions earlier, who have raised their points, this is just the beginning po. As for the ACT, Sir Jojo has been coordinating. So this webinar has been conducted because we wanted to ensure that we will get feedback from you guys who are forming IT professionals. So kaya po ito present namin to have a feedback kung saan tayo. Yes, Sir Greg has pointed is good enough, but this is just the beginning. We will be conducting more verifications in relation to ICT proficiency.
All right. So if you have questions, again, please feel free to reach us out on Facebook. That's on DICT Region 7 and 8. On our email, DICT Visayas Cluster 2 at dict.gov.ph. You can send us a message directly as well on our Facebook Messenger. Now, one last question, no, from Sir Jeffrey Noel Kilakil, no, I have passed the first part po, pero yung hands-on wala pang schedule since 2018. So, I just want to ask, are you from Region 7 or Region 8? If so, we already have the list of the passers since 2017, and we are already working on a schedule for the passers for the a schedule for the hands-on or the certification, which will be done probably in the nearest DICT office. If you are in Cebu, here in the port area, in Negros Oriental, in Dumaguete, and then in Siquijor, that's in Siquijor, and then in Bohol, we also have a provincial office. So if you are one of the passers, and if you are from Region 7 and 8, give us a message so that we can communicate with you as to the schedule of the certification exam. All right. Okay, so I think that's it, Gerald. Please move on to the last part of our program.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for your time and for giving us those feedback and suggestions and informations. Definitely, we will use those things and add up in our meetings with the chat and with our central office for this one. We thank everybody for giving this amazing feedback or suggestions that we could really build and use in our ICT Proficiency examination. And before that, we would like to give a certificate to our guest speaker, Dr. Josefino Ronquillo.
Yes, sir.
Let me just read this, please, sir. So the ICT Certificate of Appreciation is given to Dr. Josefino A. Ronquillo for being one of our guest speaker in the webinar on ICT Proficiency Examination conducted by the Department of Information and Communications Technology, Visayas Cluster 2 on January 29, 2021. And to Ms. D. Villavicencio for being one of our guest speaker in the webinar on ICT Proficiency Examination conducted by the Department of Information Communications Technology, Visayas Cluster 2 on January 29. We thank you to our speakers and to our stakeholders to different universities and schools in Region 7. And before that, let's do a photo op. So please turn on your cameras. Okay, let me just go ahead and...
Again, while waiting for everyone to turn on their camera, this is just the beginning. Teachers, educators, we're happy that we have linked to you. Thanks to Sir Jojo for providing us the guidance. Hope everything will turn out right in this coming months or years. Can you turn on your camera po para mag-picture na tayo?
Okay.
No need to worry po about the attendance. All information will be only used by the ICT. Hindi po namin i-share yun as provided by the Data Privacy Act of 2012. So again.
Okay. So everyone, 1, 2, smile. And another picture for the wacky part. Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Once again, thank you for joining this webinar, and to Sir Greg, Cherry, thank you for your suggestion, and to thank you for the information. And everyone, please don't forget to answer the evaluation sheet.
Sir Jojo, do you have any words to say? Okay na?
Thank you po sa lahat.
Thank you, Sir Jojo. And again, the evaluation sheet is in the chat box, so please do answer that one so I could send you the certificate and the presentation for today. Once again, everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you po. Thank you, Dr. Ronquillo and all.
Welcome po, ma'am.
Sir Lloydin, good afternoon. Online ba ka, sir?
Music Studio. Music Studio. Studio.